Welcome back. This is the 19th episode in creating a third-person controller in Godot. Check the link in the description for the entire playlist if you want to follow from the start. Today, we're going to make our character not rotate with the mouse. This is a simple little trick to make your character and camera feel a lot nicer. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want the entire course right now, you can support me on my Patreon or become a channel member for instant access. Or skip the monthly fee and grab the full course on Udemy. Lifetime access included. Links in the description. Now let's get into today's lesson. Now, we're getting pretty good. We've got our animations walking, we've got our forward, we've got our jump. When we aim, we walk, and when we sprint, we sprint. But there is an issue, and that is when we rotate the camera, the character follows. To be fair, it's not too bad, but I think what is normal is that the character does not follow the camera when you're not moving. And on top of that, obviously, definitely more noticeable, when we input left and right and back, the character is just running forward, which does not look good. So we are going to address them starting with the camera, because it's a little bit more straightforward, I guess you would say. So we have the camera. This controls everything. This is where we are rotating the camera. So we've got a camera look function. So this is where we have the information that we need to do the work that we need to do. So what we can do is simply emit a signal to the character model to let it know to update that rotation. So we can put a signal in and we could just call it mouse rotated. And it's gonna emit a rotation. We can't use rotation, so I might just put an underscore in front of that and it'll be a vector 2. All right, so we've got that rotation. We've got a warning here. Mouse rotated is declared but never explicitly used. That's okay, we're about to use it. Okie dokie. So we have, I scrolled too far down, the camera look. Well, pretty easily here, we can just, and we should probably do this to be honest, at the very end of the script, emit the signal mouse rotated dot emit, and the variable we want to send off is the camera rotation, because that is what is important to us. And we can use this for a couple of different things in our character model. Right now, we're going to start off with the rotation. So we've got that signal. We can simply just double click it. We don't have to do any fancy code here. We can click the character model, press connect, and we go to the character model here and we've got on camera mouse rotated, right? And we've got that rotation. So what do we do? Now, the first thing I think we should do is store that variable so that we have it and we can use it for other things. So I'm going to grab the variable. I'm going to call it current mouse rotation and it'll be a vector 2. And well, we are going to set the current mouse rotation equal to the rotation. We're just going to update that whenever the mouse moves. Okay, now we need to rotate the character with that. So we can go transform.basis because we need to reset the basis whenever we rotate something. And we'll use the function rotate object local. Again, we are rotating in the y-axis if you've forgotten. The y-axis is the one that goes through the character. We're in cinematic preview here. Turn that off, is the one that goes through the character. So it's this up and down here. So that is why we need to rotate that, because when we rotate around that, the character moves like this. So we go vector 3 and it's 0, 1, 0 because that's the y variable. And simply we pass in current rotation dot x, because you got to remember that the mouse rotation is the left and right. So x is the left and right, and we want to rotate our y axis by that amount. Okay, that really should be all we need. One note on the rotation, this is current rotation. This is a positive number. If we go back to the camera, you'll notice that it's a negative number. So we are counter rotating the character model. So when we rotate the camera, say we rotate the camera to the, like this way, we are going to counter rotate the model the opposite direction. So it appears that it's staying in place. All right, so let's give that a run here and see how we go. And you'll see that, yeah, the character sits in place when we rotate the camera, which is pretty nice. But you'll notice that things fall apart pretty quickly when we move. So if I run straight ahead, that looks great. But what if I wanted to run over here? Well, now we've got another problem. The character isn't rotating. And that problem has now become a major issue because this just looks wrong, right? Not only the left and right are wrong, but also the forward and back are. So we can fix that. Now, this is relatively straightforward. We just need to rotate the character by whatever that vector is. So if you imagine you pressed W and D together, it would be a 45-degree angle. You want to rotate the character by this much. You also need to take into account the rotation of the character as well, and we can do that pretty easily. So the first thing that we need to do is get the direction of the input. Now that lives in the state machine, right? So we're going to do something very similar to what we did with the animation state, right? Whenever we change state, we update the animation state. Whenever we input direction, we can update the direction. Call this input direction changed. And it's going to emit an input direction. I can't use that variable because we're using it down there. So I'll underscore input direction, and it's going to be a vector 2. All right. So this is the variable here that we need to send off. It simply, if we come down to our code here, we've got set direction. We get the vector left, right, up, and down, and we manipulate. See, we got in a second variable here, which is actually a vector 3, and we manipulate that into like basis of the camera. Now we don't actually need that information. We can derive that from the current available information. And I find it's just a lot easier to separate the two when you're doing these kind of calculations. It makes the math a lot simpler. All right, so we have an input direction. Now we will emit that very similarly to how we do the animation state because, well, we have to do it on every single one of them. And it's kind of annoying to have to do that, right? So the first thing we need to do in order to get this connected is to create a function on the character model. So we can come back to the character model, and I guess I'll just put this at the bottom here. We create a function and we'll call it on input direction changed. And it's going to take an input direction. It's a vector 2, and it doesn't return anything. Okay, we can just put pass. So that's the name of the function we need to connect to. All right, so we can come back to the state machine. So we can do the same thing that we've done here, where we write child dot input direction changed dot connect, and we can write character model dot on input direction change. You can see it showing up there. I just removed those brackets, and that's it. We've connected the signal. So now we need to do two more things. We need to emit the signal, and we need to do something with it once it's been sent out and received from this function. Okay, so as we're building up here, when should we emit this function? Well, there's a couple of different options here, and we could do it in the set direction. This is when we ultimately get that information, but we don't really want to emit it in the idle state because we aren't putting in any input, and we don't want the character to simply turn around and face the camera, right? So we don't actually want to emit the signal in the idle state. So what I think we should do is just in each individual state, obviously not idle because that's the one we don't want to put it in, but say in the run, at the bottom of this, we emit the signal. So we can go input direction changed dot emit include, and we just add the variable input direction, right? So that is what I think we should do. So we've done that in the run. In the aim walk, we do want that same thing at the bottom of this state. We just put input direction changed emit. We got aim walk. We want sprint, same deal here. In fact, it'll be the same all the way down. Just try to remember to do it to all of them. And jump. And also fall. There's an argument for not including it in this one. It's not a big deal. Even for jump, maybe you want the character to just face the direction they jumped in. Would be acceptable. We can play around with that. And then same with sprint jump and sprint fall. All right. So we've got all of them there. Now they're all being emitted. Now we're not doing anything when we get to on the other end. So what do we do here? Well, we need to rotate the character, right? So there is a bit of an issue here where we're already doing a counter rotation on the character model. Let's open up this scene. So it's going to be kind of hard for us to do another rotation on that because we'd need to know exactly where and the difference between the rotations and all that kind of stuff. It's very difficult. Not impossible, but You know what's a lot easier is to just do a rotation on a subnode, especially since we have this hierarchy here. So Armature is flipped by 180. If you remember at the very start, I noted that the character was facing the wrong way. So that's where my counter rotation is. Don't want to do it on that one. But the one above here doesn't have any rotations on it. And if I rotate this, it'll rotate the entire thing, as you can see here. So as a way of like sort of avoiding that mathematical conundrum, we can just rotate that. So we can create an export variable here. We'll just call it armature, and it'll just be a node 3D. It doesn't have any type. And so what we can do is click into this, choose the armature. And once we get that input direction, we can just rotate that. And what I might do is create a separate function for this that we can call. So we can create a function called rotate armature, and it's going to take an angle, which will be a vector 2, and it will also take an offset, which will be a float. Now this will be the current rotation of the character model, and it returns void. So let's just create some space down here. Okay, so how can we find out the angle to rotate? Let's create a variable called new angle, and it's a float, since we are just rotating the y variable. So whenever we do an input, we get two variables. We get an x and a y. And if you imagine them on a plane, we have like a forward, and then we also have, let's say you're pressing W and D together, you would get a 45-degree angle. If you imagine each one of those, one's pointing out at 0 and one's pointing out at 90. I'm doing a gesture with my hands, but I don't have the camera on, so you guys can't see it. I might draw a picture. And you need to figure out what angle would be. It's fairly easy to know at this point, if you're pointing upwards and to the right, that the middle would be 45 degrees straight up and on a diagonal. So that's what we need to figure out. And it is possible, I suppose, if you were using a joystick, that it wouldn't always be so simple. But we can figure out, no matter what the level of input is, what that is using tan. Just press equals here. Atan2 is the name of the function. Now, if we click into this, you can get a description. Returns the arc tangent of the xy in radians, used to get the angle of the tangent to compute the value. The method takes into account the sign of both arguments in order to determine the quadrant. So we're going to get an angle back based on those two vectors. So we can just say angle x and y, angle y, right, okie dokie. And then simply we need to rotate this. So we can go armature dot basis equals basis. And then finally, for this rotation, we can just call armature dot rotate object local, like we have for everything else in the past. We pass in the vector 3, and it's just the y-axis again, 0, 1, 0 there, and we pass in the new angle. Okay, and we're good to go. I'm leaving the offset off intentionally. We can put a little underscore in front of it, and when we call this function, we might want to make this default value of 0, so we don't actually have to calculate anything. And that simply means that we don't have to provide it. Essentially, you'll see here in a second. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. Rotate armature wants the angle, which is just the input direction, and it should be good to go. Okay, so let's run that. And everything looks pretty good. Obviously, at the end of everything, we're still facing towards the camera, so trying to put it at the end of the state didn't help with that, but that's okay. I've got a solution there. You might notice that everything looks pretty good. Now, things get a bit weird when we start rotating the camera. Obviously, this is why we need the offset. We can fix that. We just need to pass in the current mouse rotation dot x. And then on this new angle, we can actually subtract the offset. Okay, so if we run this again, and when we rotate the camera, we are correctly facing the right direction. Now, we're still very snappy, and we're always facing towards the camera at the end, which is a bit of an issue, but we can fix that fairly easily. The way to fix the snapping and the fact that we face towards the camera at the end is simply by doing some easing, right? So we can create a variable called direction or input direction. We can just call it input dir. We make it a vector 2, And essentially on this input direction change, we'll set the input direction equal to input direction.lerp, and we'll just pass in the input direction from the signal. And it wants a weight. 0.1 seems fine. What we can do is we can create an export variable here. We can call it the turn rate. It's just a float, and we'll make it equal to 0.1. And we'll pass that in instead of just hard coding that, right? Easy. Okay, so now we're going to pass in that instead of the variable from the signal, and things should start to look a little bit better. And as you can see, the way that we turn is a lot nicer, and that's all pretty good. And now we're sort of at that point where we can start working on other things like the weapons. We'll need to set up a lot more with the animation tree, and we'll also need to create a weapon management system. But we're cracking along now. We're going to start developing both the animation player and the weapons at the same time because they're sort of interconnected. If you think about the way that you pick up a weapon or swap a weapon, you need the character animations to do things, right? So we'll start by setting up the rest of the tree, most likely, and then creating the actual weapon system. But yeah, we've got a character that looks pretty good, rotates pretty nicely, moves around. If this is all you were looking for, you'd be set. All right, I'll see you guys next time. All right, that's all for this episode. Next week, we're going to be fixing our falling animation. And if you're finding this series helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, you can become a channel member if you want to get access to every single episode of this course, or you can join over on Patreon. All right, that's all for this week, guys. I'll see you next time.